So we're going to move on and we're going to go on to the understanding the audience part, which is all about demographic data. You're going to have to collect all of this information from geographic location all the way down to device preference, and we're going to present this in a table. So this is the HTML code for a table, and the way it's going to end up is it's going to look something like this. And let's go through some of the parts of a table. This title up here is actually just an H2 tag. Um, so that's nothing new. But everything down from here down to the very bottom is going to be inside of a table tag. And inside of a table tag, we have a caption, which the caption is this right here, audience related to my site. And you can also have a T head, a T body, and a T foot. But for this, we don't really need that kind of stuff. We can just use the basic tags. So we're going to have our demographics column and our description column. And everything in this column is a header tag. And by default, the only difference between a, a table definition tag and a table header tag is that it bolds these. And it centers them, I believe. I believe it centers them. So we have bold and center when you apply that tag. And the difference in the code is for a header cell has th, whereas the normal text has td. So you can see the difference there. So let's get started on this. Let's go to Shift Edit and get down to the space below our last tag. I'm going to leave a little space there so we can see the difference. And I'm going to put an H2 tag. I think it's an H2. Let's go back and check to make sure it's an H2. Yep, it's an H2. So we got an H2, and we're going to make it audiences. So we have our audience tag, and now we're gonna put in our table. You could type this all out. It'll be much quicker if we just copy and paste this because it's nice and presented. So Control C to copy, head back to Shift Edit, and go to New Line, leave some space, and Control V to paste. So now we have all of our stuff in here. So even though you're copy and pasting all this stuff, it's still important to understand what all this stuff is. So I'm going to save this really quick, and we're going to go look at what this gives us. So I'm going to refresh, and we'll go down here. So this is what we have by default. As you can see, only the DH tags are filled in. So you can see DH right there has demographics, so that corresponds to that. And this is a very subtle difference, but the only difference between this table row, and this table row is that this second term has a DT. So when we put something in here, so I'm going to go get my geographic location text, and I'm going to copy it and paste it. So the only difference there is when we save this and we look at it, we're going to see that it has a different text style. And that is because it's in a DT tag and not a DH tag. If we were to say change this to a DH tag and change the corresponding one down there, save it again, we're going to see that this is not going to be what we want. It's going to make that bold and centered, which doesn't look good because you want the title of the rows and the title of the columns to stand out more than the actual text. So we're going to go in here and we're going to change that back. So TD, TD, and TD. So and we'll see that that goes back to normal. Oops. got it in the wrong spot. So that's back to normal. You can see age ranges. We have our header there, and these have a similar relationship in this context to when we were doing the definition list. This is our term, relatively speaking, for there, and this is our definition. The only difference here is we're presented in a table. So unlike this, which has this kind of indented effect for the data, we're actually having a table of information. So you can see how those are really quite different. So I'm going to put a couple more data in there. Let me get my age ranges. And Control C. And let's make sure it gets in the right one. Control V. And I'm going to get this one because I'm going to do a citation demo for this one. Control C. Education levels. Control V. And the other one I'm going to do is this one. And that is religion. And we're going to control paste in there. So, we're going to save that. And we'll refresh that and we'll see we have a few more things in there. So, as you noticed in the textbook here, we have two options for citing. We can either do inline just using the cite tag, or we can actually put hyperlinks in there that link to our source. So I'm going to do one of each. So we're going to go back to Shift Edit, and we're going to make a link to Alexia. So I'm going to make our A href equal to, let me go get the actual, and let's copy that link address. Oops. And put quotes, and we're going to paste. So, that's not exactly the link I want. So obviously that did not work as good as I want, so I'm going to have to manually type in that. And just like in the definition list, we're going to make target equal to, quote, underscore blank, end quote, and the citation. Then we're going to go to the other side of our link, and we're going to add the closing attribute tag. So now we have a hyperlink. So that's one type of citation that you can do. The other type of citation you can do is putting quotes. And if you've ever written a research paper or anything, this is going to look a lot more familiar. But what we're going to put around here is our cite tag. And cite tag is a lot like a span tag. It doesn't create a paragraph like a TD tag or a paragraph tag or some of those other tags. This just allows you to, when we get into CS, apply some special characteristics to this section of the code. And it helps search engines be able to determine what this group of text here actually is. So like all other tags, we have a closing tag at the end. And the other thing I wanted to make sure is that we're putting the parentheses at the right side. Yep, we got it on the right side. So we are good to go. That's two type of citations. And so that's the basic idea about the table. What the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to build a table by just typing it out, just so we can experiment just a little bit with what exactly we're doing, because it can be kind of deceptive if we're just copy and pasting out of the textbook and not actually making one. So we're going to make a little table, and we're going to put marital status and family size in it, and we're going to type this all out by hand. So first part of a table is the table tag, and then inside of that you can have a caption. So you can have a caption there, but that is an optional thing, but we will put it in anyway. And we're going to call this test table. And then we want to make a row for marital status, and we want to make a row for family size. So I'm going to go ahead and make a TR for table row, and then I'm going to go down here and make a TR for that. And remember, for HTML you can always make little comments like so, and there I'm going to put so. That'll just allow me to easily identify what this is. So the way you make one of those is less than sign, exclamation mark, dash dash, what you want to comment out. In this case I'm going to go family size, and dash 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 greater than. So that gives us nice comments so we can know where we're at. Inside of table rows we have table headers and table definitions, like I was talking about earlier. Our table header is going to be what we want to make bold, and we want to make marital status bold in the marital status row. So we're going to type marital status, and for this one we're going to go to the end, make a new line, tab, do a TH, and do family size. And now we want just the normal text, so we're going to do a TD, and we're going to put our actual text in there. And we're going to go back up here and do the same thing. TD, and we're gonna hopefully grab this text and copy. Control paste. Gonna put that closing one on there. So now we have a little table. So this is a nice little test. So I would suggest practicing using these tags. If you just copy out of the textbook, you're probably going to get the assignment done, but when the test rolls around, you're going to be having a bad time probably. So let's look at our little test table. You can see there's our table caption, and there is our marital status and family size. Okay. So, since that was just a test, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And we're going to continue on for the last little part of this after the table. So, the next part is keywords and phrases. And this is going to be a let's go look at the textbook and see what type of tag. I think it's going to be an H2 tag, but I'm not entirely sure, so better to be safe than sorry. And we're going to go down to keywords and phrases, and I'm looking for it does not specify, so we're going to do an H2 tag. I'm going to call it keywords and phrases. And now we're just going to do a P tag there. Paragraph tag, copy the paragraph, copy, and paste. And we're going to do the same thing for the hook. Oh, I'm going to type actual title first. Going to put in a hook. And then we're going to go to the new leg, make a paragraph tag. And we're just going to copy this in there. Oops. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Control C to copy. Paste, Control V. And that is most of this plan. So later on you're going to do colors, but this is really the bulk of this assignment is right here. So I'm going to refresh this. We'll see our new paragraphs, and yeah, that's about it. You'll obviously fill this out, and you're going to have a lot more links in here. If you're looking for demographic information, my humble suggestion is to look into similarweb.com and alexa.com. They have quite a bit of demographic information on websites, and they could probably help you out quite a bit. The Pew is also useful for general demographic information. So, yeah, that's about all I'm going to cover for the plan. Thanks for listening.